Hello, my name is Nick.
我的名字是 Courtney.
We would like to welcome you to improve your English by learning about photography.
我们希望你们能借此摄影课程来提升你们的英语能力。
Here are some basics for new photographers. We hope you can learn a lot of new things.
影片将对摄影入门者说明基本的摄影技巧，希望你们可以从中学到许多的摄影知识。请注意听，并跟着念下面的单字。Vocabulary, parts of the camera, lens, viewfinder, sensor, shutter, trigger, screen, flash, menu.
Vocabulary, photography terms. Please listen and repeat the following vocabulary words. Light and shadow, dark, bright, direction, subject, aperture, f-stop, small, big, high, low, shutter speed, fast shutter, slow shutter, seconds, exposure, underexposed, overexposed, focus, in focus, out of focus, blurry, sharp, clear, focal length, millimeters, distance, near, far, wide, narrow, portrait, vertical, landscape, horizontal. Types of cameras. There are many types of cameras, and there are too many to talk about in this video. Today, we'll be talking about only 2 types of cameras. These are the most common cameras used today: the smartphone and the mirrorless or DSLR camera.
Smartphones are easy to use. Many people own them, and you can share your photos quickly and easily. One bad thing is that the photo quality is not great using a smartphone.
Smartphone cameras have similar parts as mirrorless and DSLR cameras. They have a menu, a viewfinder, which is also the screen, and a trigger to take your photos.
Smartphone cameras have very few parts. They are the flash, the lens, and the sensor.
Mirrorless and DSLR cameras. Mirrorless and DSLR cameras are more difficult to use than smartphone cameras. They are also more expensive and more confusing to use. However, they do take high-quality photos. Mirrorless and DSLR have many parts. They are the sensor, shutter, viewfinder, trigger, screen and menu, the lens, and the flash. We are going to learn about many different photography terms. Are you up for the challenge? The first subject we will learn about is light and shadow. Camera lenses, sensors, and shutters work just like our eyes work. The more light that enters, the brighter your photo will be, just like the more light that enters your eyes, the brighter you will see.
If there is not enough light, the picture will look dark. If there is too much light, the picture will look bright. Many cameras have a flash. The flash allows you to use more light in your photography.
Light also creates shadows. The direction of the light can give you many options on how to use the lights and the shadows on your subject. The shadows can also be useful to create very interesting photos. Next, let's learn about aperture or f-stop. Aperture is the small hole that allows light to enter your camera lens. When the aperture is very small, only a little amount of light can enter the camera. When the aperture is big, a lot of light can get in. But what is f-stop? F-stop is a term that tells you the size of the aperture. This is a number that describes the size of the hole. A low number, a small number, such as f1.4, means the aperture is wide open and lets a lot of light in. A high number, such as f11, means the aperture lets only a little bit of light in.
Next, we learn about shutter speed. Shutter speed is the length of time camera shutter is open, exposing light onto the camera sensor. Shutter speed is counted in seconds. Shutter speeds can be fast or slow. A fast shutter speed allows in less light and less motion. A slow shutter speed allows in more light and more motion.
Exposure. What is exposure? Exposure is how much light touches the sensor. If there is too much light, your photo will be overexposed. If there is too little light, your photo will be underexposed. A dark photo is underexposed. A bright photo is overexposed. When it is dark outside, a slower shutter speed and longer exposure can be useful to capture more light in the camera.
What is focus? Focus is making sure the picture is sharp. When it's sharp and clear, it's in focus. A picture that is not sharp or clear is out of focus. The picture is blurry. A good photo can have blurry and sharp details.
Next, let's learn about focal length. This is not an easy subject. Focal length is the distance between the lens and the sensor. It is measured in millimeters, or we'll call this mm. Different focal lengths make your photo wide or narrow. A focal length of about 12 to 18 millimeters will give your photo a wide angle. It will be a wide angle photo. A focal length of 100 to 300 millimeters will make your photo look narrow, or you will have a narrow angle photo. Look at these photos of the farm and the barn. The smaller focal length gives you a wide view. The more narrow the focal length, it will give you a more narrow view. Wide angles can show a lot of space. Narrow angles can zoom in on smaller details. If you look at lenses, you can see the difference between them.
Last, we will learn about some different directions when taking pictures. First, let's talk about portrait photography. Portrait photography is usually taking narrow focus pictures of people. In photography, portraits are usually taken in vertical direction. Vertical means a photo is longer from top to bottom. There is also landscape photography. Landscape photography is usually taking wide pictures of the outdoors. In photography, landscape photography is usually taken in a horizontal direction. Horizontal means a photo is wider on the top and bottom.
We hope you learned a lot about photography.
希望你们可以学到许多摄影知识。请务必看下段影片，学习更多的摄影技巧。
Please take the quiz by clicking the link below.
请点下面的连结做测验。拜拜。